Good evening and welcome to Truth Be Told. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. It's a very interesting point to have this conversation, specifically to do with the new Corona cure drug that was announced by Baba Ramdev Patanjali company 2 days ago. Post that, we saw Indian authorities come out and say that this drug doesn't have the required approvals that it needed. Now, our aim here is to understand what these approvals are and why this doesn't fit the bill. Joining me right now is Dr. Tanmay Mahapatra, who's an epidemiologist. Dr. Mahapatra, thank you for joining me. Good evening, and thank you for giving us your time. If you could just explain to us, doctor, what is the process that needs to be followed for a drug to be approved in our country?
So, if we are talking about a drug which is going to be approved for use in general, there is a complete process called the clinical drug trial. There
Yes.
are two kinds of processes when we speak about any vaccine or something which is used for somebody which is who is normal. That we often call as the not the clinical trial, but it is kind of randomized control trial or field trial, that kind of thing. Clinical trial means we are dealing with patients. Now, for the patients, there are different stages of a drug trial when we are actually trying to understand that whether that drug is efficacious to prevent or cure a disease. We need to understand that what is the definition of the word efficacy. Efficacy is something which gives us an idea that to prevent or cure a particular condition, how good that particular agent is, so that we have out of 100, if we are actually saying that 98%, 99% are in ideal condition, are going to be cured. Or if we are talking about a vaccine, in case of say 100 out of 100, 99 are going to be or 100 are going to be prevented. We call that efficacy when it is in ideal condition. And what does ideal condition mean? Ideal condition means that the particular clinical agent, let's talk about clinical agent, which can be a drug, which can be a procedure, anything, which ultimately that clinical agent is given in a situation so that that particular person on whom it is being tried, they're admitted in a facility. They are being administered this under a situation when they are under proper clinical observation for all kind of effects and side effects. So when I say that, it is actually not about the efficacy only, it is also safety. And there are different stages. I don't want to make this discussion too much technical or jargonic. So I'm not going into the animal phase of a stage and after that coming into human phase and then thinking about the severity of side effects and all those stuff. Then toxicity, then safety, and then a different stage 3, A, B, and after that post-marketing trials. So I'm making it a little bit easier for the discussion with the general people. So when we have such an agent which can actually somehow biologically we know that is actually have the potential of coming up with effects which can cure a disease. Let's concentrate on our context. So suppose we need to have something where we can cure corona or cure a disease. So for that matter, we first have to check that whether in an ideal condition, when the person is admitted in a place with all kind of medical observation and clinical observation going on, so that we can see different effects on the body, how the drug is working, and it's kind of a volunteer-based scenario when we try to see among those cases how that particular medicine is working in terms of taking them to cure or relief. Now there comes this is regarding efficacy. There is something which is tested later, which is effectiveness when we are talking about the real life situation, the field situation. When something is actually tested in the field and in a situation when there may be not ideal situation, there may be some people rarely they can have some side effects and all those stuff. So we kind of have the scenario which is called solicited or non-solicited side effects. That is, there are also this called the serious ones, non-serious one. So I have already spoken about 4 kinds of scenario.
Yes.
serious non-solicited, non-serious solicited, so all kind of permutation combination to ensure that ultimately we are ending up in a situation that we know the safety and efficacy profile of that based on which it is actually approved. I spoke about the whole trial process. After that, there are the administrative processes.
So fundamentally, after testing it on animals, in human trials, we have to first find out if it works, which is efficacy. Then we have to find out in what dose does it actually work. And third, we have to find out if it has any side effects or any, and these side effects, are they long term, are they damaging, and if that's some risk versus reward that we can actually weigh in. I assume this also applies to Ayurvedic medicine, then, doctor?
It should, because ultimately we are talking about biologically active materials. And when we are talking about biologically active materials and working them with the human life, it doesn't matter whether it is based on Ayurvedic or allopathic or homeopathic, which kind of medicine. Different science come up with different kind of mechanism of actions and standard operating procedures. But while talking about these from a little higher aspects, like going through the understanding the efficacy of that particular thing and then seeing its dosage and then talking about its safety profile and tolerance, there should be the similar process for the Ayurvedic also.
Right. And doctor, something to do with Patanjali, there were some challenges. For example, Ayush Ministry made a statement saying that uh, there's no such medicine that has been approved by them. We had a professor in Patanjali's Ayurveda department who said that he had issued a license for an immunity boost and not a cure. So is there some gray area here about who approves medicines in India?
I am little confused by the terminologies floating around regarding Coronil and COVID and all those stuff, because we are using the word cure, which fortunately I think we all know the meaning. And if we are talking about COVID-19 or SARS coronavirus, novel coronavirus 2, we are actually talking about a viral disease, an infectious disease. A virus is a kind of a genetic material which enters into our body, and based on different kind of protein based enzymatic actions, we ultimately end up in having different copies of that particular virus in the body, which then continues to have their mechanism of action in our different organs, ending up causing different kind of serious complications, for which some of the patients are dying who have their comorbidities. That much is what we know about this particular disease so far. After that, there are confusions regarding whether it is actually embolism because of the cytokine storm, and after that, those materials causing some kind of occlusion and obstructions in different micro vessels and different air pathways, smaller aerial pathways, or whether it was actually the original theory of acute respiratory distress syndrome that was okay, or it is a because of some reason there is a huge hypoxia which is ending up into all these kind of things. So these are the whole pathway of the disease. Now, if we are talking about immune booster, we are talking about not contracting the disease. We are not talking about its cure or something. We are talking about whether the person, if in fact, if exposed, are going to be infected by the disease or not. Now, I am not an expert to talk about any Ayurvedic medicine, so I really don't know what this Tulsi and those other things which are there, as I read in this, they are going to work. But the point is, whatever has been mentioned in literature and all other things, it has been mentioned that those are generally the components which help in, first of all, boosting the immunity, and then second is to actually help in treatment of fever and cough and cold. Now, if we are talking about cure for a patient who is suffering from corona, we need to kill the virus. And I really don't so far heard about virucidal, or even if it is stopping the effect of the virus, which is called virostatic. I really don't know any kind of that virus destruction effect of any Ayurvedic medicine so far, but I already told you I don't know much about Ayurvedic. But definitely for killing this, immune boosters are not likely to be method of choice.
And Doctor, now it's been announced and has received a great deal of media play. Should there be regulations to make sure that it's not sold at all, or can it still be sold? What is the status right now on the ground of a medicine like this, or a concoction like this?
So first of all, we actually have to be sure that whenever we are talking about selling a medicine, we understand what the medicine is going to do. Now we are seeing conflicting news articles saying it was submitted for approval before, somebody got saw it, after that it was actually progressing through the system, after that nobody know what is happening, etc., etc. First of all, we need to know there is a process, right? For any drug, before it is being available in the market, there is a process of first of all licensing it, and before that, having ensuring that this has certain efficacy and effectiveness through a proper scientific process. I have not seen any scientific article on this particular drug, as I mean the Ayurvedic medicine, as well as any trial on that. But I have seen many scientific articles on many homeopathic and Ayurvedic and other kind of treatments, because after those things only all this science advances through conjectures and refutations. You gather conjectures, then try not to get refuted, and then only through a proper process of peer review and all those things, you get a particular trial or something tested. And then there is this process of licensing. So there are some checks and balance through which all the drugs need to go before getting it accepted in the market for selling. Now, without that, it should not be in the market, because I can give you this scenario. I'm an epidemiologist. I work in the field. I talk to people. I have to go to people. I need to work in the field with people. And please give me a medicine which will ensure that despite having comorbidities that I have, I can do that with more vigor that I can doing right now. And I'll be doing that. So if without that process, somehow as it is being sold in the market, I get that kind of assurance that I'm protected, or I have, if I'm diseased, I'm cured from corona, it can give us a false sense of kind of precaution as well as relief.
All right. Thank you so much for answering these questions and helping us understand what is really going on, so we can be a little more careful with every announcement that comes out, especially in the middle of a pandemic when information is so important. Thank you for our viewers for watching Truth Be Told. Remember, leave questions for us at the bottom of the video and we'll try and answer your questions. Thanks for watching.